Hello, hello once again. This is the second devlog of the year, and I'm gonna share with you what I have done in the past month regarding the own project and all of the related libraries. So yeah, let me get started. I have some notes here. I'm gonna go through the changes, demo a few things, and talk about some ideas. So the first thing that I'm gonna show here, and I'm gonna try to be quick about it because it's been a few times that I tried to explain this. Last time I showed the clone editor, which was this thing that allows me to edit any self-editable file, which means like any HTML file that has a blob loader library. And so now you can essentially like drop any HTML file there. Like it could be itself, for example, or you can do something like this, and then click enter, and now we are self-editing ourselves in this case. And this is pretty cool. Like say we want to change this, we can look for that, and we can update it. So that's gonna be somewhere around in here. Oh yeah, I know where it is. It's in the clone editor module, and somewhere in here we have the text. Let me see. Oh, by the way, we can do a split view, which makes it easier to edit. So drop HTML file is what it says. So I can simply like look at here in the whole document. Oops. Drop, maybe we say drop, and then we look for it. Oh yeah, it's not inlining the modules because I have them as remotes, so it's actually not gonna appear here. But if I go to the clone editor and we do drop HTML, then we have it, and now we can say like here, right? And then it immediately reloads that thing. And that's pretty cool. And then we can go back to preview, and then we can download a clone, and then we can like just clone editor, and then we can grab this, put it back here, and now it's like self-inspecting, a self-inspected thing. And now if we go to the document, like now we have everything in line, and this is just a annoyingly huge material symbols that I have to change. So now I can do what I wanted to do, which is like drop HTML file here. Pretty crazy. So I'm gonna reload. So yeah, this applies for basically any other system. So like if I open desktop, like the desktop program that I showcased last time, we can also like edit it from here, and we can do that with a few other things. Yeah, so let's put this aside for a moment and go back here. So yeah, clone editor received some changes. There's still a lot to be done. Like this, I just wanted to like start with the editing and preview process. But there's obviously a lot that goes into it. It's not as straightforward to create like a full IDE basically, but it's also not like that complicated. There's just like a lot of details, ergonomics that you need to think of to get this right, basically. So yeah, that's a lot of work went into that. I also made a few updates to the blob loader, mainly so that we can use ESMSH. And so if I go to the website here, you see that we can do this, and that's actually doable. Like if I copy this, maybe that's a bad example, but yeah, essentially we can use these URLs for the remote. We just have to say that it's an external library. So let's try it actually. That would be interesting. Let's go back and let's edit a simpler one, like the base one. let's go to main and let's try to, I actually haven't tested if it works by importing like this. Console log confetti. Let's see what happens. Looks like it works, but I'm not sure. I also don't know how you use that API, so let's see. Let's open this. And then, oh, it looks like I made a mistake. Import. I mean, it looks like it works. Oh, wait, I don't know which one I'm looking at. Let me close this one. Let me close it again. Let me open it. All right. Okay, yeah, there you go. So it looks like it's a function itself. So let's try calling that and see what happens. I don't know what this does, so let's I mean, as you can see, like it actually did load the thing. So let's look for the actual package and see how to use it. All right, so you confetti. How do you use it? Like, how do I call it? Oh, I have to like create a whole canvas and thing. Yeah, I don't want to do all that. Anyways, you can see that it works. I could even like import React, and we can try to get that. Actually, even more interesting, we could do this. We can get my own library. Yeah, let's see why that doesn't work. That's interesting. Shit. Oh yeah, no, but there's that. All right, and let's see. So it looks like it's working, and let's move this here. So we should be able to see. It looks like it's loading the local version. So, yeah, okay. That means that it was not using that. Okay, confetti is not defined. Oh, I didn't realize that I kept this. There you have it. So it works. Yeah, this proves the point. So like now I'm using the npm package directly from esm.sh. And you can do this same thing by updating the document. So if I wanted to like load it from that remote instead, I could do basically, yeah, like just do it from here, and that would also work. Now updating this does not change the thing on the right. That's actually where I left off, and the main reason is because you like sometimes the modules are inlined. Like if I do an export, that's gonna be inlined. Like if I download a clone, yeah, whatever, and then like I use a file loader instead. And if I open the document, like you see that now everything is inlined. And so if that's the case, you don't want to update the code directly from here, right? So I need to parse this document and essentially remove those inlines and show like a different version of the document that would allow you to edit other document elements. So yeah, that's basically what happened with these two modules here. But basically, yeah, everything else is around my new website. I mean, I already had it. This Fernando.computer website is essentially going to be what I use to share the work that I do here. So it's going to be like my public computer, in other words. And the cool thing about that, and I want to put this back in place. Yeah. The cool thing about that is that people are going to be able to use those things. So like, for example, instead of accent, like I have it local here, but instead of doing that, I would essentially use it via this URL. So I can do this, and then I can do like base. That's one that I have currently publicly there. And I don't think it's gonna work because it's gonna have like a course issue. Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of like the idea. I don't have the clone editor there yet. I might actually do it here as a demo, like putting the clone editor file there. But yeah, so the way that it works, if I go back to here, is this is actually like a Cloudflare worker. And I actually had a different version that now lives on VPS, which was using head snare instead of the worker. Because that would give me more freedom, like for experimentation, but it also was too slow sometimes, and it's just like a bit more of a pain to set it up and to scale it. So I decided to set it up as a worker. And yeah, so let me show you how this works, but I let me check my notes. I don't want to miss anything. So okay, so we did this. We covered this other thing. I'm gonna dive deeper into how this works. Yeah, oh, well, you already saw this, so I already covered this. You can use npm to get IMA, and I'm making a new website for it so that you can see some guides on how to use it, some examples. Then the cat just caught a bug on the window. So now on the demo, I want to show an example of a game. I mean, I already showed an example, but like, let's just go for it. So that's actually public. Well, actually, I haven't pushed it. It's local. All right. So yeah, this is a good demo. Let me close this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this as I explain how the worker architecture is set up, and then like I'll have to explain what this is to make this editable game public. All right. But before I do that, let me go through these notes instead. I apologize for being all over the place, but this is for some reason this has been a difficult devlog to do. So, all right. So these actually were notes that I did for myself because I was thinking like, okay, I like this space. It has a lot of private notes, but there's also like a lot of public notes or notes that I want to make publicly available. And like I also want to be able to access the private stuff through like an authentication layer. So that's what this website is for, right? And so I was like, okay, like what do I actually need to do? The priority is that I want to start migrating the content, so stuff from here to the public website. So, and that's gonna live here. So I just want to get that ready. Like this is my absolute goal, because I want to be able to like iterate on new applets. So like applets are like this piece of paper, like the terminal, all of these items on the canvas are applets. And yeah, like I want to be able to have like HTML snapshots. Like when I had Suna Garden, I like that on Arena I could just upload HTML files and that would automatically be kept track. Like it would actually serve as a backup, and I can just like go back in time to any snapshot of that HTML file. I really like that feature, so I also want that. And that's same for modules. And yeah, like for backups of everything in general, because like yeah, these snapshots are in the same bucket, but I want to be able to like create backups of that whole bucket. And so I also want that feature. So, and I would still use like a head snare for myself, and then like have some sort of like CLI that pulls from that bucket based on some hooks maybe, or like periodically. And then like set up sync thing there, and then like, share that with some close friends that could have a hold of my backups, and maybe even have like a GitHub one or like a one on Drive, etc. It doesn't have to be head snare though, like it could be my local machine. But yeah, that's kind of like the idea for what I want with this project. So then I started thinking like, okay, like what's going to be the URL structure, right? In the API. And so, as I already showed, like the immediate slug after the domain is going to be what I call a program. So like a computer program, right? And you can have any sort of like slug structure. So like in this case, it's like games and then like the name of the game. But then like folders are actually fake. So like you could have games be a program. If there's no program, then it's a 404, but that itself is also a program, which means it's just an HTML file that's self-contained. And so every program is just a self-contained HTML file. And then there are some exceptions for the URL structure. So I want to be able to access snapshots from the past. So that's how you would access them. Like you pass like a timestamp and then like the thing. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know yet. Like this was just like some like notes, but I essentially want something like this. And then I thought like, okay, yeah, let's use the same endpoints for like a post API. Maybe like maybe I have this other API thing, and so like maybe that's how I interact with it. And then I was like, okay, let's think about modules. I need like a similar API, and then like mapping that to the endpoints, etc. So at that point, I'm like, yeah, let me just write code. So that's what I did. So let's minimize this. Or actually, yeah, so as you can see, like before I had this like weird setup where I had to do like bond server main dev, right? And this is what was running on the VPS. And that's an interesting idea that I still want to continue, but it's not as useful. So instead, what I want is I want to all right, let me go through. So instead, I want something simpler that can live as a worker. So as I already said, I need to switch to this main branch. And let me go back to my notes. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. So, yes. Okay, so this thing. All right. So here's the implementation of those nodes. It's like we have API routes so that we have all of those like append and rename and delete snapshot. So like append module would essentially like take a path. So like for example, it could be the games like how the fuck do I pay this? And then we push some new data, which is essentially HTML. And that would create a new snapshot, and the head would point to that new file. We can also rename a module, or like a program, sorry, I was talking about programs. And then that would change like the whole slug, and that's it. Delete program would also delete like the whole, everything, like even all of the snapshots. If you want to delete a particular snapshot, then you would have to do it manually. Like at least that's how I wanted it to start with. So now yeah, so that's basically when I went to implement this, and I'm actually using IMA. So like this JSX, this TSX file, like these are actually rendered by IMA as static strings. And yeah, so for the home, I have like this hello world thing. But then we have like the different routes, right? For like scripts. So if it starts with scripts, we take the path and then we map it to something in the bucket, in an R2 bucket. And we do the same for style modules and files, snapshots, and the programs and everything else. So it's actually very simple. We just look for that and then we take that HTML path. You can use both, like with and without the HTML extension, and that's it. And that's pretty much for the worker. And the CLI does a few different things. That's actually the more interesting part. The API is relatively simple. So the CLI has a few functions. So if I do, actually let me like make another quick build of it, because I was testing some ideas and with the other branch. And so yeah. So here, this prod test, this is a directory that would allow you to work locally or like have a local backup of what's on Fernando.computer. So this is like a mirror. As you can see, we have snapshots and we have, like those timestamped HTML files. And then we also have everything else. So maybe I'm actually going to start with a new folder, or wait, actually no. Let me go back, because there's something that I haven't pushed. So currently I was working on something. I added this game, and this is what the CLI is called, telesync. And so I have a command to serve that folder as if it was hosted on the real thing. And so I can just open this. You can see the hello world there, and then we can go to base. We can also go to games, and then we can go to this. And it looks like I'm broke. So let me restart this. All right. So yeah, this is a game. There's some JavaScript running here, etc. And I can just like save something on the back. You get the point. It's an incremental game, and you can of course like download it. This one has the clone editor embedded into it. Yeah, I fixed this bug, but it's on the other branch, so I'll have to do that later. Definitely out of the video, because I'm gonna get off track. But anyways, yeah, we have this thing, right? So this is not on production right now. Like if I try to access that, and if I go to like games, how the fuck will I pay this? Yeah, there's 404 error. So if I want to push those, this file that I have here, I'll just do telesync. Actually, we can get like help, or maybe not. I did that help. Or I guess it was like help like this. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so you can see here the usage, right? Like, here you can just pull. Well, this is more like a setup, like an initial sync. Then you can pull all of the files, and then you can push local files. So we're gonna do a push. So telesync push. And so I uploaded those, and I also uploaded all of these other things. Yeah, it's just downloading everything. It's a bit slow. It's probably because it's blocking, like it's doing one by one, but it could probably do like in parallel. Oh wait, I actually don't know what microphone I'm using to record this. Oh, I hope I'm using the right microphone. Anyways, let's hope for the best. All right. So, if we now visit the website here, and we go to games, how the fuck will I pay this? Boom. Now we have this public, and now you have like a deployed website. And I actually don't know if we're gonna be able to edit this here because of that bug that I fixed on the different branch. Yeah, it works in a funny way. It's using this font. That's an interesting bug. But anyways, yeah, you get the point. Like it works, right? Like, and if I want to update that, this is horrible. So if I go to like, you can see that, you know, we can like fuck. There you have it. So yeah, you can actually access this and play with it. So that's kind of like the setup with it. The CLI has that goal of like syncing local with remote, so that it's easy to work with an existing editor as well. But the goal is not to depend on your local editor. Like this public computer setup, I want it to be so that I work from this computer. Like I don't have to depend on like an external editor. Like I want it to be as powerful as it can be, so that I can use it for real, for everything within, you know, this domain. And so yeah, that's basically what I did. And what I'm still doing. Like this is obviously a work in progress. So there's bugs to fix and things to do. So yeah, I also wanted to talk about other things. So like Clone Editor JS, like he currently provides a UI that's very provisional. But I think I want to divide it in two. So like one is the API layer, because I want that API layer to allow me to use this API, so that, you know, you get the remote and then you're like, okay, yeah, I made a change, I want to push it to the remote, you know, so that we can use that worker API with some authentication, so that, you know, we can update those files. And then so yeah, I want to do that. And then I also like want to experiment more with the UI, because I would actually prefer that to be like a canvas. Like it's been a long time since I want to do like a canvas based code editor, and so I want to explore that as well. I want to add assistants so that you can vibe code stuff and do changes quickly. And I also, of course, want to have some way of handling conflicts and yeah, stuff like that. I also wanted to talk about terminals and TUIs, mainly because, yeah, there's like nowadays we have way more TUIs. So a TUI is a terminal interface. So yeah, it's like UI on the terminal that looks blocky. So let's see what this makes. Yeah, so it's just like more graphical. Does this do anything more interesting? I don't think so, but I can show you a more interesting setup. So here's what I mean. Like, actually, not the website. I have this thing here, and for example, I can cd into this folder, and then I can do fresh, right? And this is all like happening on the browser. And so, you know, like I can make it so that, I mean, here it's accessing my local computer because I'm an Electron. But if you would access, you know, on my public computer, then you would be interacting with a VPS if you're authenticated, because obviously you're not gonna have like a public VPS shell, right? But that actually becomes really powerful and really interesting, because let's open the sidebar. Yeah, because like TUIs are like, I'm dragging this thing, like this is, I'm using the mouse input to like browse different files and things and select stuff. This is really cool. I don't use it because it's like, it feels very early still. Like there's customizations that I want to make for this program, but I haven't done them. But it's really cool. Like I want to find some time to look into this. But yeah, like the fact that I can run all of it, like I could run the whole thing here. Like so that's closed. But like I can do like prod test, right? And then I can do sync. Like, would you look at that? That's crazy. Like this is like really like closer to like an actual computer, and it's also like a canvas, right? Obviously, like this canvas version is kind of sucky, but yeah, like that works. So I think that's really cool. And so imagine having this remotely, right, with an authentication layer. I don't think it's gonna be as fast. Obviously, like there's gonna be the delay for the SSH to like go back and forth. But it's still like an interesting exploration. And that's what I'm doing here in general. Like I'm just exploring different ideas for how we can use computers, and which is why I'm making everything web. And I want to be able to share these ideas with people online, so that they can try those out, and so that they can fork those ideas as well, so that they can download one of those editable files, and so eventually like make the Fernando computer like open source, and so that you can kind of like mount your own public computer or private computer. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm doing here. And obviously there's a lot of things to do. Like I still have to implement authentication, and like there's a lot of ideas like for multiplayer that I want to explore, and then like syncing. So yeah, there's just a lot to do. But yeah, this month this is mainly what I explored, and I'll continue to be exploring this with the goal of migrating content. Like I want to make all of this cool applets and interactions and things publicly available, so you can try them out, and I can also get some feedback and see what people like and what they don't like. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this devlog. I apologize if it was like all over the place, but there's just a lot. Like there's a lot in my mind, and like because not everything is finished, it's just really hard to like be very clear, like like where are the boundaries of the different modules and things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this devlog, and I'll see you next month. Cheers.